Welcome to United Tribes News Radio on Super Talk 1270. I'm Alicia Heglin-Thorpe, and I'm with the Office of Public Information Media Specialist at United Tribes Technical College. Thank you, Town Square Media, for the opportunity to reach out to the Bismarck-Mandan area and beyond. We produce this show to give listeners insights into a Native culture in a tribal college. Also to introduce you to people making a difference at United Tribes and throughout the Bismarck-Mandan community. And also, we do this show to introduce you to ideas and topics, all to improve understanding. Today, we're going to wrap up on this year's powwow and the summit. We have our events coordinator on the air with you, and we're going to take you to a Veterans Memorial dedication. Also, we have highlights from the first ever North Dakota Native American Hall of Honor inductee ceremony. That's coming up later in the show. But first, our guest this morning is Dr. Jeremy Gwen, Department Chair and Professor at United Tribes Technical College in the Environmental Science program. He's here with some exciting news for United Tribes and for those who are interested in science. And who isn't interested in science? I love science. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on our show today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So congratulations are in order.
That's right.
We have a big announcement.
That's right.
I'll let you make the announcement.
I'm happy to announce that we have received funding that sets our science programs up through 2021, which sounds like a long time from now, but we have big plans for the science program and a lot of work to do. So this funding will allow us to build something really special for Bismarck and Mandan and also the tribal communities that we serve.
Okay, and you say this money, you didn't say how much it was.
I did not. So we've received $2.5 million over 5 years from the National Science Foundation to build our science programs. $2.5 million.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
That's a lot of scientists in the making.
That's right.
So tell us more about where the grant money is going, how it's distributed, and what are your goals for this?
Sure. So we have a very new Bachelor's of Science program in Environmental Science and Research. That program just started this August. So we're well into that program right now. The money will help fund the supplies and equipment and that sort of thing for student activities in that program, but it also do a lot of other auxiliary activities that will provide more of a comprehensive training for students. A lot of our advising boards and a lot of our potential employers tell us that it's not only the education that's important, but also the soft skills, the ability to lead, the communication with people in relationships within the business.
And getting them ready to be employed, too,
That's
I would
correct.
imagine. Yeah, okay.
Very good. So we have a lot of other things on top of the bachelor's and associate's degrees that we provide for environmental science and research. We're also doing a Summer Success Academy program, which will start next summer, and that's a pre-freshman math camp that gets students, before they even get to our campus as enrolled students, they come in and get more training on the math skills that are so important for the science and engineering degrees.
What's the age group for that then?
They'll be just after graduating seniors
Okay.
in high school and coming in right before their freshman year.
Okay.
So we're giving them a step up on those math skills that are required for the advanced STEM courses. Some other activities, we'll have a K through 12 teacher academy, so looking at middle school and high school teachers in the region. For the past 3 years, we've worked with 12 teachers to develop modules for their own classrooms, but those modules are based on our research activities at United Tribes and some of the other tribal colleges. And so they've developed these modules. We're now going to invite other teachers to come in and train them on how to use those modules to best benefit their students.
When you say other teachers, area high schools and things like that? Or?
Yep, area high schools and middle school teachers
Okay.
from the region.
Okay.
And then another activity that this funding will go towards is called a graduate teaching internship program. So we'll bring graduate students from UND and NDSU and some of the other colleges in the state and have them teach science courses for one semester on our campus. It exposes our students to a whole new area of expertise and also provides a good recruitment tool for faculty members. As many people may have never considered a tribal college as their potential career. And I'm one of those products of a graduate teaching internship program. And I would have never considered a tribal college because I didn't know anything about them.
Yeah.
But here I am 11
Sure.
years later.
So, and then that's what, like you said, some of this funding is going towards that. So I would imagine, getting the word out to all these other people, that costs money too, the advertising part of it.
It sure does.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
So some of the other goals of the program are to increase the number of Native Americans involved in science in the STEM careers. And we know there's a myriad of challenges and threats to natural resources and environmental health on reservations and in our broader community, yet Native Americans remain underrepresented in the science and engineering fields. So that's one of our major goals, is to get them in, get them engaged, and get them interested in pursuing a STEM career.
And when you say STEM, that stands for
Sure.
science, technology,
Engineering.
and math. Okay. And then backing up just a moment, you said, trying to recruit students to come to the school. The goal then is to what? To make United Tribes, the go-to source for science learning or how do you explain that?
Sure, that's exactly right. With this funding, it will set us up to be an environmental conservation research and training center. And the training part is the educational and the short-term training workshops and that sort of thing. The research part of it is this funding will allow us to search out faculty research for the very first time, where our faculty members will have time and equipment, supplies in order to look at some of the more complex problems that we're dealing with in the region.
Exactly. So what are those? I mean, tribal environmentalists, we're always looking for more to recruit more people. Is there a particular need in one area over another? Like when it comes to water or soil or plants?
Yeah, keep going. Keep naming off. Are there water problems? Sure, there's definitely water problems. Are there concerns about hazardous waste and solid waste management? Sure. Is there air quality concerns? Is there concerns about energy development and how we build a more sustainable future? And that's really the key. It all boils down to sustainability, which at the core is wise use of natural resources. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to be able to use any of these things, but how do we do it in the best way in order to improve our future and have a brighter future?
Absolutely. What are some of the different research projects that you guys are working on then, if you can briefly tell us?
Well, we have a few ongoing projects. One is looking at medicinal uses of plants, traditional uses of those plants, and how that translates into modern world and also into Western science, and using some of the Western science techniques to identify the compounds and pieces inside the plants that are causing those health benefits. So we have a few students working on that. We've had an urban coyote study that has been going for a few years now, where we've tagged up to 16 coyotes here in Bismarck, Mandan, and the skills that those students are learning can be applied to a variety of different animal species and also any area that they go to after United Tribes. And then another project is the Bat Ecology Project.
The bats.
Yeah, everybody knows the bats. And the Bat Ecology Project is really a nice connection with agriculture and how bats may be able to be used for a natural pesticide against some of the pests, crop pests.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Sure, and we've had up to I think 15 or 20 students working on different bat projects over the years.
That's just batty.
Yeah, crazy. Sure.
Thank you so much for being on our show today and explaining to us. This is exciting times. More science. You can't get enough science. Congratulations on the grant and the funding.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with more after the break.
Currently 57 degrees.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to United Tribes News Radio. Recently, United Tribes Technical College just wrapped up a very busy week. It took months in the planning. It was the 47th Annual International Powwow and the 20th Annual Tribal Leaders Summit. And these committees worked tirelessly to get these events off the ground. With me right now is event coordinator Sasheen Whitetail Cross. She was the man behind the myth. Just
the
kidding.
Woman.
The woman behind the myth, the legend. And so she's here just to kind of help us wrap things up and to congratulate all the people that took part and all the people that came out. So good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. So we had a very, very busy past few months.
Oh, to say the least.
Yeah.
Busy that I couldn't even explain how busy it was.
But look how it paid off.
Yes, it was a very great, huge success for not only United Tribes Technical College, but the community of Bismarck and Mandan and Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Brought many different players and people in Indian country to our community to see what's going on. the Tribal Leaders Summit brought in some very, very big heavy hitters in the realms of gaming, tribal economic development, education. And a lot of our tribal college students attended the Tribal Leaders Summit. And I just remember me as a student coming, when I had all these people coming to the campus of UND, we rarely ever got to see anyone in Indian country come to the campus. So whenever we did, it was like, oh my God, it's like the star people in Indian country. So it was also exciting for me to see that the students can see people that they are studying in their classes be speaking at this event and telling them what's going on in their world and up to date.
Who they're learning about and what they're doing for Indian country. And here they all were in one place.
Exactly.
That's got to be exciting for students. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they got to network and they got to meet them, talk with them, start those networking early for them for the future, for future jobs, just maybe for papers, a future learning for them. It was great.
Yeah, and students were allowed free at the summit, the United Tribe students.
Yes.
So they learned a lot. Now, I just wanted to mention, now we wrapped it up. It was September 6th through the 8th, and Town Square Media was there, and they conducted some live radio interviews during the summit sessions. So these interviews illustrate the importance of having those tribal leaders coming to Bismarck to talk about the important issues in tribal nations, but to do it in a community like Bismarck-Mandan. So in these next few clips, Sisseton-Wahpeton Chairman David Flute, who stresses how important it is for young people to be involved. Also, we're going to hear from a student president of the North Dakota Indian Youth Leadership Academy, Kiana Harrison, from Standing Rock High School, who was part of the Youth Leadership Summit, and also Les Thomas. He's actually with the North Dakota Native Tourism Alliance. And lastly, you're going to hear from Bismarck Mayor Mike Seminary.
My name is Dave Flute. I'm the chairman of the Sisseton-Wahpeton Sioux Tribe, Lake Traverse Reservation. Did a deployment in Afghanistan, 07-08. Been involved in tribal government for a long time, and it's my first year as a term as a tribal councilman and now as tribal chairman. Tribal Summit is, it's a good opportunity for a lot of our young people, especially the students that come to the college here, United Tribes Technical College, and be able to take part in the trade show and be able to visit with the different vendors and maybe grasp some ideas into becoming architects or other types of technical skills that are needed out there.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiana Harrison. I'm a senior at Standing Rock High School. At the summit, we are touching the subjects on drug, alcohol, bullying, and suicide, trying to get our students' input on how to change these things in our community.
Good morning to everyone. I'm the board chair for the North Dakota Native Tourism Alliance, which includes all tribes of North Dakota and partners such as North Dakota Tourism and North Dakota Heritage Center and many others. Our mission is to protect, promote, preserve, and educate the world about the culture, history, and environment of our sovereign nations. And our organization will promote and educate through sustainable tourism while developing amenities for our people and our nations. It's all about partnerships and communication. And for more info, my email address is lesthomas52@yahoo.com.
This is very important for the city of Bismarck because it's the 20th Annual Tribal Leaders Summit and the 47th Annual International Powwow. Then that speaks to the long-term relationship that the city has with United Tribes, and I couldn't be more proud of being the mayor during this time. We have a very profound relationship, president and the chairman of the tribes and myself and the city commission, and we're just pleased as could be to be the host of this incredibly important summit in 2016.
And we had a special event that happened the first evening of the summit, Sachin.
It was a Tribal Leaders Summit discussion on the Dakota Access Pipeline. We had Chairman Archambault come and discuss about like the timeline of what has happened from his perspective. He gave it to the general population. It was a free and open event. Anyone from our community could come to hear our perspective on it as the Native community, and he brought with him Gracie Claymore and Alice Brown Otter, who were the youth that ran to Bismarck, to DC, to bring this issue to the people in DC.
That's right, and we actually do have a sound clip of Chairman Archambault and those two youth members talking about their experiences with the Dakota Access Pipeline.
About 2 years ago, we were informed that Dakota Access Pipeline was planning on coming close to our area. When we first heard about even just the project, we asked that we be consulted. Would you consult with us? We didn't get responses. We weren't getting responses from the company nor from the Corps of Engineers. It isn't until after the Corps of Engineers says, here's what we're going to do. This is the route that we're taking. Even then we said, this is not consultation. So to help everyone understand what we consider meaningful consultation, there's 4 things that we ask. The first one is that we meet with the decision makers. The second thing is we want to be a part of the plan. Whatever plan it is, we want to take part of it. And the third thing is that we ask that we be heard. Just hear us out. Through that deliberation, the last thing that we ask for is that whatever we talked about, there's some reflection of our deliberation. And we felt that never happened. And every time the Corps of Engineers would come forward and say, we want to meet with you, or they would send us a letter, they'd make a phone call to us, we found out later that they are considering all that correspondence consultation. So we have a disagreement in what consultation is. The other part of it is, how do these types of projects get processed? Why are these projects that are 1,200 miles long getting processed so fast? And so we start looking at the permitting process. When you look at the permitting process, we believe that the whole entire project should get an environmental impact study. The environmental impact study will determine whether or not this is a doable project. And if that takes place, we'll be able to tell whether or not this is a good route or if it's a viable project. But that didn't happen. What we wanted to get consulted on was NAGPRA, American Council of Historic Preservation, Section 106. Section 106 gives the tribes the opportunity to look at lands that are in the path of a project and determine whether or not they're something significant to us. And it usually it always does tie with federal lands. This project, there are some federal lands, and there's majority of the project is private land. So the way it worked is, instead of going through Section 106, they did a nationwide permitting process. When it comes to the federal lands, they just do an environmental assessment. This environmental assessment just takes pieces. So wherever there's federal lands, it takes a little piece, and it's I would call it a procedure. It's a check the box process. We got our environmental assessment draft. This environmental assessment draft showed a couple things. It showed a route that was just north of Bismarck, a proposed route north of Bismarck, and then an approved final route north of our nation. There was no indication that Standing Rock even existed, yet the pipeline was coming 500 feet from our boundary. And if anything was to happen, we said it's going to impact us first. So we should have a say in it. We should be the ones that are determining whether or not this project is viable.
Hi, my name is Alice Brownrider, and I shake your hand with a good heart. I'm from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and I live in Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm 12 years old. I attend Horizon Middle School, and I went on the run to DC, and it was just a good experience. It took like a little over 3 weeks. There was 40 of us on the trip. When we were in Iowa, there was people going by calling us tree huggers and bringing us down, and it brought some of the runners down too. But we kept going. We kept going in prayer, and we knew that Tukashila was with us. And when we were going through, we were chanting through the town. There was a lot of positive energy too. When we got to DC, we ran/walked to the Army Corps of Engineers headquarters. We were there for about maybe 4 to 5 hours chanting, and we knew that they were watching us. and we wouldn't stop. We may have got tired, but right after we were protesting or protecting our water, we had a meeting with them. All of the youth got to have a little minute to talk to the headquarters at the Army Corps. We just changed a lot of their minds. They started crying. It opened a lot of their hearts, and they listened to us, and we felt like we mattered again.
Hello everyone, my name is Gracie Claymore. I'm 19 years old. I'm Hunkpapa Lakota from the Standing Rock Nation. I grew up on the reservation my entire life. Why I'm standing in front of you guys today is to tell you about my experience following the Dakota Access Pipeline. I've been there pretty much at the camp every single day, and I've been supporting the runners since day one. I've been supporting the camp since day one, and what I can tell you all is that the people at the camp are peaceful and prayerful, and I've always stressed that there's no words that could ever describe how beautiful it is there. It's awesome to see so many tribal nations and even non-natives coming to support us, coming to stand together with us, and when I think about that, I think about how powerful our people are and how powerful we can be when we come and stand together.
About 225 people attended that particular session at the summit to hear the most recent information about the pipeline, the project that's happening near the Standing Rock Reservation. To find out more about how the youth became involved, go to the website of respectourwater.com. We're going to jump now quickly to Powwow. We wrapped things up with Powwow as well. That was a very busy week. And we first started out with Youth Day. And that's always a success for us. We have area schools who come around. This year, we actually had some people who actually taught the students and their teachers the meanings behind the dances, and we have it on video, and it's actually on our Facebook page. But we also had them as guests of honor during the first grand entry, right, session?
Yes.
And let us know a little bit more about the schools that attended. Let's maybe do a shout out to them.
We wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to the schools that attended our Youth Day. That is Dorothy Moses, Solheim, Highland Acres, Rita Murphy, Jeanette Meyer, Roosevelt, Lincoln Elementary, and BHS. I would also like to say a huge thank you to all of our sponsors for both of our events. The Bush Foundation, USA Funds, Tesoro here in town, Sanford Health here in town, Missouri River Resources, the United Tribes Land Grant, as well as the several different tribes in the North Dakota and Minnesota area, which is the Mandan Hidatsa Rickarat Nation, Spirit Lake, Shakopee, Turtle Mountain Indians, and the Siston Wahpeton.
Awesome. Yes, thank you to all of those people who participated in as our sponsors. Also, one of the events of the night was our athletic teams. So we were able to highlight the UTC women's basketball team for achieving the Region 13 champs, the men's team for their amazing accomplishments as well. The UTTC Legends softball, they had 4 Hall of Famers, and 4 Winds Minnewacan High School boys Class B state champs were on hand. Shiloh Christian Skyhawks girls basketball team, State B champions were on hand. And of course, the Newtown Eagles cross country and track team were also in attendance. So, next year is even going to be more successful. It's going to be a bigger event next year, and we're going to have even more fun planning it, right,
Heck
Sashi?
yeah, I'm going to have a lot more time to plan it this year instead of 3 months.
But sometimes we work best under pressure.
Right.
Thank you so much for being on our show today, and we're excited to announce the next year's dates are September 8th through the 10th of 2017.
Yes.
That's right. All right, thank you, and we'll be right back after the break.
Currently 57 degrees.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
Welcome back to United Tribes News. Recently, the North Dakota Indian Affairs Commission hosted the inaugural and first ever annual North Dakota Native American Hall of Honor inductee ceremony, and this was held at the North Dakota Heritage Center on September 8th. The event was open to the public, and it was a packed house. There were several people listed on the agenda to speak, and to those who were given awards. But this was a project that was 7 years in the making, and it was a kind of a dream of former U.S. Senator of North Dakota, Byron Dorgan. He wanted to recognize Native Americans who have gone above and beyond in representing their tribal culture. Here is a little clip of of that ceremony. Master of Ceremonies is Scott Davis, Executive Director of North Dakota Indian Affairs. Daryl Dorgan is speaking on behalf of his brother Byron Dorgan. And the first honoree of the evening, father to United Tribes President Dr. Russ McDonald, Anthony Tony McDonald.
We have with us President Russell McDonald. Dr. McDonald, please stand. Thank you. Russ has been a huge partner in a lot of things that we do with our offices here in our cities and our state. So, thank you, President McDonald, for being here. Also, we have in the audience Chief Justice Vanderwall, and I know Chief Justice, thank you for coming. Also, we have in here the audience Secretary Al Jager. Al Jager is also on the foundation board too, so he had a lot of planning and I'm sure a lot of comments to how this Heritage Center is going to be built and also the construction of this auditorium. So thank you, Al, too. Next, we have a letter and some comments to you. I want to invite our good friend up here, Mr. Daryl Dorgan. As you know, Daryl is the, I don't want to say the little brother, or I don't want to go with little or older brother than our longtime friend, Senator Byron Dorgan. And I know Senator Byron Dorgan really wanted to be here tonight. We talked throughout these past few weeks, and it was really the idea of behind the Hall of Honor from Senator Dorgan. So he had a lot of play and a lot of influence on this idea too. So I want to welcome, please, Daryl, come down and say a few words on behalf of your brother.
This will be brief. But this tonight is the compilation of a dream that my brother had, and he would have loved to have been here, but just things didn't work out, and he is traveling, and he asked if I would just give a few prepared remarks. First of all, congratulations to Scott Davis of the Indian Affairs Commission and to the State Historical Society for making this day happen. Our history books have captured the stories of our country's leaders, but they always miss the first chapter of leadership in this land that we call America. The history of struggle and opportunity in our lands did not begin with the Mayflower landing on the eastern shores, and the story of leadership is not just about those who drafted the U.S. Constitution. They are all worth celebrating, and their stories of courage and perseverance are inspiring. But before those leaders arrived in this country, indigenous people were here. They were farming, hunting, raising families, and living off this great land that we call North Dakota. They too had strong leaders with stories of struggles and success that still inspire us today. The decision today to recognize, memorialize, and celebrate leadership among Native Americans is long, long overdue in North Dakota and in other parts of this country. Thank you for taking the first step in recognizing that leadership among Native American people. Those American Indians you have chosen to honor today are extraordinary men and women, each heroes in their own right. The measure of our value here on earth is what we do to help others. Today's honorees have proven that value with their lives, sacrifices, and accomplishments. Congratulations to all of them. Byron Dorgan. I'm going to blow this, but I'm going to try it. Mazadaga, Wishte, Wise.
Thank you, Daryl, for your true words. Thank you very much. The history, as Daryl alluded to, this has been a concept for some time, for at least the full years of my tenure, 7 years, when I first heard about this and really wanted to get involved. And so it was a lot of planning, a lot of consultation. We went to every tribe twice in those first 2 years to talk about the full Heritage Center in the architect, the blueprint of this Heritage Center, because they're going to be brand new. Keep in mind, this Hall of Honor is yours. But tonight, the whole purpose of tonight is their stage, the inductee stage. So with that, I want to get started here. We have Mr. Anthony Tony McDonald, proud member of the Spirit Lake Nation. And when we first start talking about Mr. McDonald, it was really clear very quickly of his spiritual leadership that he provided and continues to provide his tribal nation and his surrounding communities, regardless of his health. But Mr. McDonald is a true sense of the word of a spiritual leader, of a man of value, a man of courage. And so with that, please enjoy Mr. Anthony Tony McDonald.
I think Tony is so worthy of being inducted into the North Dakota Native American Hall of Honor. There's really two overriding themes and characteristics that I think of when I think of Tony. One is Tony chose to be a victor rather than a victim. That in and of itself is inspirational to all of us. But what I love is that Tony uses that victory in his personal life to build bridges. He's a healer.
When I was between 14 and 15, my mother died. That was in 53. So that's the year that the government was trying to Americanize the Indian, and we're sending them all out to the cities, relocation. And my dad left. He wasn't home 10 days after Mom died, and he left.
People talking about, life experiences and, hardships and stuff like that, struggles that they've been through. And he's one of those people as well. And to come this far and share that with, the people of this community, people have, again, somebody to fall back on and understand that they're not the only ones that struggle. And there's always someone here to help them. A lot of people depend on Mr. McDonald.
I did everything you usually do. I played ball. I graduated valedictorian. I got to do just about everything I wanted to do, I guess. That's where my rodeo comes in. Because I grew up on horses.
Tony McDonald is actually one of our spiritual role models for the Spirit Lake tribe. And he's one that you could call upon for words of wisdom.
He also does ceremonies for people who are grieving and coming out of grieving. He does those ceremonies as well. And I don't think I've ever heard of that family telling someone, no, I can't.
Whatever you're doing, do it the best you could. Then you don't have to come back and do it the second time. We have a value system that is pretty, you couldn't compare anything with it. It used to be, when I was growing up, I seen the values in our people that they lived it. They didn't talk about it, they lived it.
1983, Tony was ordained as the first permanent Indian deacon in the state of North Dakota. He tries to connect the culture and the faith life that people are called to live, and that we recognize that Christianity, the core of the Catholic faith and the core of the Dakota culture, are not incompatible.
I know a lot of great preachers, but very few of them are a sermon. Tony's one of these guys who not just preaches a good sermon, but he is a good sermon.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Anthony McDonald.
First of all, I would like to thank all those that were behind this, the thought about honoring Native Americans. Now those two words are new to me, Native American. I'm used to Indian. So thank you everyone for taking part. There's two things that I never forget. One of them is, Grandpa used to say, never boast about yourself. So I stay with that. I want to stay with that. What I see happening here, one time one of the grandpas told us a story. Why we're having so much problems all over, not any particular race. We do not know how to use Chante Ishta, the eye of the heart. Because when we learn to do that, there's a beauty in everyone. But we can't see that because we don't use the eye of the heart. And what we're leading up to here now with this honoring of natives, somebody is beginning to see from the eye of their heart. God bless you.
The North Dakota Native American Hall of Honor partnered with the State Historical Society of North Dakota and the State Historical Society Foundation and United Tribes Technical College. The Hall of Honor is now open to the public. And to know more about Tony McDonald and all the other honorees, we encourage you to visit the North Dakota Heritage Center at the state capitol. We'll be back with more United Tribes news after the break.
Right now it's 58.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to United Tribes News Radio. I'm Alicia Heglin Thorpe, media specialist for United Tribes Technical College in the Office of Public Information. In Native American communities, veterans are regarded as warriors and are honored and respected in several ways. At United Tribes Technical College, a monument was built at the front of the campus dedicated to veterans of all branches of service and to both Native and non-Native servicemen and women. A ceremony was held at the campus Friday, September 9th. Special guest of honor was 100-year-old Army Captain Harold Brushwine, a World War II veteran from Bismarck, who served in Hawaii at Pearl Harbor on that infamous day and also at Guadalcanal. He started his military career as an Army officer 1939 at Fort Lincoln, which is now United Tribes. After his discharge in 1944, he went on to become a teacher. Here are some highlights of the Veterans Memorial dedication.
Before we get going there, just want to recognize a couple of dignitaries. With us today is Scott Davis, Executive Director, North Dakota Indian Affairs Commission. Did an excellent job on a Hall of Honor last night. Also here with us is Mayor Seminary from Bismarck community. Glad to see you here today and supporting our veterans. Also in the audience with us today, and we want to give a special recognition to him, is Captain Harold Brushwine, World War II veteran. He's 100 years old this year. He served in World War II in Hawaii during the Pearl Harbor bombing, as well as at Guadalcanal. Captain Brushwine of Bismarck began his Army service as a commissioned officer right here at formerly Fort Lincoln, now known as United Tribes Technical College campus. He is also a lifetime educator, having taught at North Dakota State College of Science in Wahpeton. So we're really pleased to have him here today and present with us. From what I understand, he did some of his training here prior to joining the regular Army. Let's give him another round of applause, please, for coming out and spending this afternoon with us. I'm sure he served with a lot of our American Indian veterans during that time. We know that American Indians, Alaska Natives, had the highest enlistment and veterans rates of any other race in the nation. And I believe a lot of that is largely due to our warrior societies that we've had from the past. But another reason is that our women also serve in the military at higher rates than other races. So we hold that title today because of both our women and men serving, and we're really proud of that. I want to thank our board of directors for being here to be with us and unveil this veteran memorial on behalf of all veterans. And to that end, we'd like to call up to the microphone Chairman Richard McLeod from the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians, also the chairman of the board for United Tribes Board of Directors, to come and say a word of welcome on behalf of United Tribes, sir.
As chairman of the board for United Tribes, I want to thank everyone for showing up here. You know, it's truly an honor to be part of the board and to be part of this honoring of this new memorial for our veterans of all branches. Such a tremendous feeling, and I always say, you know, if you appreciate things like this, you know, I always say thank a veteran, because it's our veterans who allows us in this country to have this freedom to do events such as this, to have powwows, to have that peaceful and prayerful protest out going on at Standing Rock, the elections that we have because of our veterans who allow us to have things such as this in our country, the greatest country in the world. And I want to thank everyone for being here, be part of this dedication today. So with that, in Miigwech.
Thank you, Chairman. With that, I want to welcome Chairman Flute. Come here to honor the veterans that come to the school and that may be part of the administration
And I just want to say that it's a great testament on behalf of the United Tribes Technical College to erect a structure like this and have. Let's give a hand to all our veterans first over here who brought in our flags. The staff, the staffs of our people, those are first, and we know that. And I get a little picky sometimes because of my patriotism, but to me it's our eagle feather staffs. Those are first. That's our first flag of our tribal nations. No matter where you come from, Dakota, Anishinaabe, three affiliated, those are our first staffs and our flags. They should always be up front first. But the American flag, for those of us that are veterans and patriotic, I served in Afghanistan, and I love this country, and I love being a part of this brotherhood, this sisterhood, and veterans, student veterans that come in, whether peacetime or wartime, because I served a long time in peacetime and in wartime. And I commend all veterans. You don't have to go to war to be a veteran. You just go serve your country. That's being a veteran. And there's a lot of times people experience different things. They experience some of the good things about creating that bond and that brotherhood. And so when you come to a campus like this, and one of the first things they see when they driving in here, veterans, they'll know that there's a brotherhood here, and they'll feel it. They'll feel that already, or maybe the administration. And so I'm just real proud of the college, President McDonald, and I'm sure there's others behind the scene too, but just want to give President McDonald a nice round of applause, and the rest of the student body and everybody else that's contributed to that. So with that, Wopida Ichichia, how.
With that, we wanted to do something. We want to have something that, in recognition of your service for all the veterans that are here today, and we were calling on our singers for an honor song. Todd Goodsell, also one of our veterans, Marine Corps and Army, he's brought some hats here today that we want to provide to you. And we want to ask all you veterans to line up here. And we want to ask the folks that have come to support them today to come through and to shake their hand, maybe say a little prayer, encourage them. We're really happy with the way these hats came out. And so we have the new logo on our revised logo, and also United Tribes Technical College. And these are our school colors. And on that we have the veteran sewn into the side. And these are what we want to provide to the veterans that are here today. So we want to ask that you line up here and let us give you a small token, the recognition of your service.
Wanted to make sure to mention that United Tribes Technical College was awarded a $7,000 grant from the North Dakota Department of Health, the Comprehensive Cancer Control Program. These funds are going to be used to implement a pilot program for full-time employees for a worksite wellness program. So you'll be hearing more about that, and this is all for cancer prevention. Also, you may have heard that Horror on Harmon has partnered with United Tribes for their haunted house entertainment for Halloween, October 28th and 29th. You'll hear more about it. It's a free will donation, and 100% of it is distributed to charity, and our charity is United Tribes Technical College Scholarships. And lastly, we wanted to mention that we have a first annual sobriety walk, September 29th on the college campus from 5:30 to 7:30, and this is also free and open to the public. Thank you so much for listening, and from all of us at United Tribes Technical College, have a wonderful weekend.